overall, this is a bullish market, and the Nasdaq could just carry on here. It's just broken on the outside of this trend line, and who's to say that it couldn't go up to 20,000 first?
That is how you become a trader, and that's how you become a good analyst as well.
Exactly.
And it's amazing to me how many people, and I don't know, these are just people who just want to be cute on social media. Oh, look at me. I just posted a really funny comment. But people who write those kind of stupid comments, like, oh, you're saying it's going to go up, you're saying it's going to go down no matter what. Okay, you're just embarrassing yourself because you're showing your ignorance.
For the bulls, for the Tesla bulls, there are some glimmers of hope, and there's a few here. Firstly, I've got this very obvious trend line, which I'm sure most traders would have on. But the amount of tests of this, I think, is really interesting. We keep coming back up to it and being rejected.
So that's not a very encouraging sign at the moment on Tesla, that the bounce is not impulsive. All right, guys, hello and welcome. In this particular video, I'm joined by my good friend and trader, Charlie Burton of charlieburtontrading.com. He's going to talk with you about the Nasdaq, the stock markets. So going to be very interesting because not only going to talk about the Nasdaq, but also a chart and a stock which many of you talk about, which is Tesla. So Tesla is another chart we'll have a look at. So we'll cover both stock markets, particularly the Nasdaq and Tesla stock as well. Is it possible that Tesla has topped for this year in 2024? Or do we have more upside? All right, guys, join us. Okay, welcome back. Charlie, thank you very much indeed for joining me in this video on the Nasdaq and Tesla. How are you doing? You well?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Before we start, are you, I asked this question from Zach Meir. I asked him, are you a Tesla bro? Just like they say, crypto bros and Tesla bros. Are you a Tesla bro?
Or no. No.
Interesting. Zach said he's a Tesla gentleman. So.
Okay. No, I'm as a product, I think it's been a great product. But as even Elon admits that, there's more market participants coming into that market, and so Tesla have led that journey really.
What I want to do is combine Nasdaq and Tesla together in this video. The reason is that I've noticed that Tesla, and I'm sure it's not news to anyone, that Tesla has underperformed the major indexes. Again, the S&P and the Nasdaq. As a matter of fact, recently, the Nasdaq broke out of its long-term trend line. The long-term trend line it had on its daily chart. It's broken out of that to the upside. But what I'm interested in is what you think about the Nasdaq chart briefly before we go on to the chart of Tesla and cover the chart of Tesla as well. And by the way, guys, before we continue, make sure you go ahead and check out Charlie Burton's special offer on his gold level membership. Essentially, the details are on that link you see there. Go ahead, check it out, take it for a test drive, and you can actually try out Charlie Burton's trading room and his gold level membership for only £1, which is about approximately $1.27 at the moment anyway. Go ahead and check it out, and Charlie will cover that in more detail at the end of this video. Charlie, let's go on to your charts on the Nasdaq.
Well, I think that the Nasdaq has been fascinating because, I've just zoomed out here. I think it's a beautiful channel. You can see the upper channel line started back at the June lows from 22.
Yeah.
And it crosses this late summer low here. And then, of course, then starts crossing all the way up. So, again, I could have it slightly different. I think that's everyone's going to have theirs slightly off. But it's a lovely overall channel. And I think that, so you can make a case that, well, it's just trading alongside the upper trend channel line, and so therefore could we be in for a pullback? Well, possibly, because as we know, stocks have had a great run. I do think that overall for the Nasdaq, the next big round number is not that far away. It's looming at 20,000. So I wouldn't want to discount the stock market from going up to there. The bottom line is stocks are in very much a bullish mode. However, and so for the year ahead, the probabilities look decent for a positive close at the end of this year, even in this election year especially. But in the near term, of course, there's always the potential that we could pull back. But why try and fight it? At the moment, the upside is there. So the only way that it would pull back is if we started to see a material strong closes to the downside, we have a lot of news coming out in the next week. We've got non-farm payrolls, for example. We've got Powell's testimony next week as well. So there's a lot of news coming out over the next week, which a market is sensitive to those news events. So if the Nasdaq started to roll over, then on the back of those, then the scope is there because of this big channel that we're in, and the potential for a bit of a retracement, which would be healthy even in a bull market. I'm a bull towards this market. I'm just saying. Yeah. But the one thing that we have to always be careful of is when markets go up, people want to know, well, when's it going to pull back? They're naturally looking for a market to come down, and I'm not looking for that. I'm just saying, if price rolled back over, probably back below the lows of last week, that might be the first heads up that we might be in for a bit of a retracement. But overall, this is a bullish market, and the Nasdaq could just carry on here. It's just broken on the outside of this trend line, and who's to say that it couldn't go up to 20,000 first?
Yeah, I know. Whenever we mention something like this about probabilities, there's always some uneducated, very, shall we say, simplistic, ridiculous comments from nincompoops and imbeciles on social media who say, oh, Charlie, oh, Alessio, he's saying it's going to go up and it's going to go down. So no matter what they say, they can be right. Okay, I just want to say
that's trading.
That is the nature of the markets. And I just want to say to those uneducated imbeciles and nincompoops on social media who don't have a single ounce of brain cells, that is the nature of the markets. The markets are chaotic, uncertain, probabilistic, non-linear. Okay? So the reason why we talk in this kind of language is not because we're trying to be right no matter what happens. As Charlie said, he's a bull. His higher probability is for higher levels. All he is saying is we might see some short-term weakness, some short-term pullbacks. But overall, you're saying, Charlie, you're still a bull in the longer term for this year.
I'm a bull for this year, yeah. Of course, when you've had a good run, the Nasdaq's up, 8% or so already this year. But that's a very strong sign for the year as a whole. That we could well see more. We should. Probability suggests that when we're going back over the last 70 or 80 years, when we see this type of price action to kick off the year, then probabilities suggest that the stock markets will continue to have a strong year. Now, within a strong year, you have pullbacks, much like we had last year as well.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what we're talking about. That yes, you could have people say, oh, well, it could go up, it could go down. Well, that's what you should be doing as a trader.
We shouldn't even acknowledge those people because they're clowns. Just put it that way.
But as a trader, we have to prioritize where we want to be. If a market does this, then we will do this. This is how we will behave. Yeah. If it does that, then this is how we'll behave.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is how you become a trader.
That is how you become a trader, and that's how you become a good analyst as well.
Exactly.
And it's amazing to me how many people, and I don't know, these are just people who just want to be cute on social media. Oh, look at me. I just posted a really funny comment. But people who write those kind of stupid comments, like, oh, you're saying it's going to go up, you're saying it's going to go down no matter what. Okay, you're just embarrassing yourself because if you're showing your ignorance. You're showing your ignorance of how the market works. So you're just embarrassing yourself when you post comments like that. Sorry, it shouldn't really bother me.
Overall, that's my general view. For me, the last buy signal that I had was in that first week of January when we had that first pullback. I had buy signals back down here, but that was the last true buy signal that I've had. That was literally in early January. So I would actually, as a stock trader, I would actually quite like a pullback because I want to be using pullbacks to buy. So, I'd quite like another pullback to come at some point.
Yeah.
We just need to let the market come to you. Don't try and force it.
So, Charlie, as this chart shows, and I asked you to bring this chart up first, this is the Tesla versus the Nasdaq. So Tesla versus Nasdaq. We can see clearly Tesla has been underperforming the major technology index, Tesla, beg your pardon, the Nasdaq 100. So I'm assuming a lot of Tesla investors are disappointed that it's underperformed the index. But let's go now to the chart of Tesla itself and look at that.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, Tesla really topped out in late 21. It was a
Yeah,
long time ago that it made its last all-time high. So, but what I find interesting with this chart, although yes, it's negative, but there are, for the bulls, for the
yeah,
Tesla bulls, there are some glimmers of hope, and there's a few here. Firstly, I've got this very obvious trend line, which I'm sure
yes,
most traders would have on, but the amount of tests of this, I
yeah,
think, is really interesting. We keep coming back up to it and being rejected,
yes,
but this is my pebble on the pond building, where we keep coming up to a level. In this instance, we're coming up to it and reject, reject, reject. But the next time or the time after that we come up, we could well break. Now, I don't know if we are going to get up there yet, but if we did, that, and of course we're it would then be setting itself out up for a technical breakout along with this pattern here. There's also, what's interesting as well with this is how quickly it kept coming back up here as well.
mm,
So I quite like that consolidation that it's done there. Now, that's for the bulls. So for the bulls, yes, it needs to get back up to this trend line and then get a close through it. And I think that's a real positive potential
uh-huh.
for Tesla here.
That would be
Now,
about 240 approximately, right?
yeah,
240,
yeah,
250. Yeah.
yeah.
If we break that, if we break.
Yeah. But for the bears, then of course, although Tesla actually made a low, 4 weeks ago,
Mm,
but if we came back down and took that low out, then that's obviously not looking quite
yeah.
so good, because it just suggests yet again we're making another low within this sequence, and then we start coming down to that next low there
Yeah.
technically, and then
If you don't
potentially
mind,
back to the 2023
yeah,
level.
we break down below
Mm.
165 or something like that. Was it one? What was the low recently? 175 or something? Yeah, it
Yeah,
was 175.
175 area. Yeah,
If we break that, that would be
yeah,
dangerous sign for Tesla. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind showing the daily chart just for a minute, because I want to
yeah.
mention something there, Charlie. The daily chart, I noticed, yeah, that initial bounce that we had in February, if we just zoom in on that, you can see there's a lot of overlapping structures. You can see it went up,
Mm.
down, so many overlaps in that bounce that makes me think, you know what, this does not look impulsive at all. And, impulsive, corrective are two things I look at. So that's not a very encouraging sign at the moment on Tesla that the bounce is not impulsive. Doesn't look like an impulsive five-wave move at all. It looks very corrective, which does indicate higher probability we may potentially break down, but we'll see. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what happens. But you're saying you would need to see a breakout for you, Charlie. You're saying, and I agree with you. You're saying we need to break that trend line, blue line there on the chart
Yeah,
at 240 approximately there for
yeah.
you to become bullish for the bulls to come back in.
I think, or bulls
Yeah.
will be coming in anyway if they're coming in. That's but
Right. Right.
yes,
Right.
in order to give me more of a technical
Yeah.
stance on this,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be overly bullish on it right now personally, but I'm fairly neutral towards Tesla stock. But from a technical perspective, that would be
Yeah.
good. And then, of course, that's just a trend line break, and I think that would be good. And then ultimately, to get a better confirmation, would be to take that last lower high out as well, and that's up at 260 area. To take that out would give yet another confirmation if it got through there. But for me at the moment, I like the pattern. I think that's
Mm.
a really nice. Lots of tests of this trend line that's developed here. So if it does get up to there, then I would become quite bullish on it. But at the moment, I'm as neutral as you.
I got a question for you, Charlie. If Tesla does break down below the lows it made in February, which was 175,
Mm.
would that increase the probability? I mean, I think you mentioned this already anyway, but if we break down below 175, would that increase the likelihood we've topped for at least this year or this maybe the next few years? Because that would increase the likelihood for a drop down into the lows of 2023 if we broke below 175, that is.
I think for me, that's a tough call to say
Yeah.
that that's it.
Yeah.
We've topped for the whole of 2024. I think for me, it's a tough call because it is still possible that we come down attack this low, and then something happens out of an earnings call in a quarter or two's time, and then it bases and it starts creeping its way back up. So I really am neutral on it. So I'm not I'm not a massive bear on it. It's not to say that it certainly couldn't, and that technically would be the next level, those lows of 2023 as a potential, but in the near term, if we took that out, then yes, it increases the probability of that next low to be attacked, and then after that the 2023 low. But I wouldn't want to make a call this early in the year on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Charlie. Really appreciate that. Guys, please go ahead and check out Charlie Burton's gold level membership. I think by far it's worth checking out and taking it for a test drive. The link to try out Charlie Burton's gold level membership is his trading service and his trading room is in the description. That's charlieburtontrading.com/LTGold. Then apply the promo code LTGold. That drops the price down to £1, only £1, which is about $1.27 at the moment. And that gives you access to everything in Charlie's trading room, and you get access to all of his sources, most of his sources that he provides there. But Charlie, just give us very briefly what you cover in your trading service.
Yeah, there's two parts of it really. And so we've got the online trading room where my community of traders are, 5 days of the week. I'm doing sessions, training and analysis sessions every day. And so we have that's accessible to everybody who's a gold member. I appreciate that we have people all around the world and they can't all be there live. So all of those sessions are recorded so people can pick up the recordings at their own leisure. There's also all of my strategies. So everybody gets access to my resources, my trading techniques and strategies as well. And I also have an app as well. So if they want, when I'm placing trades, I do actually notify on the app, oh, look, this is what I'm doing at the moment. So if people want to learn in that environment and be part of that community, then it's a great resource for you.
Absolutely. And of course, that includes, the special offer includes access to your trading room. So go ahead and check it out, guys. The link is right there. charlieburtontrading.com/LTGold. Apply the promo code LTGold. That drops the price down for you to only £1, $1.27 approximately, for 30 days. Thanks very much indeed, guys. Thank you, Charlie. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on as always.